Yay. Hello. Good
Good
morning.
Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome to the journey into the unknown.
Yes,
Every day is an adventure.
that's right. Including a sleepy Sunday morning.
For new subscribers that are joining us for the first time, Sacred Sounds of Coffee, Gail and I get together and we have a different topic. We do it once a month, usually first Fridays of the month, but my power went out Friday, so we had to do it today. Um, but we pick different subjects to talk about, and then we do a candle lighting and sound bath. Gail plays beautiful gongs and chimes and all kinds of things, Tibetan bowls, and we do a little meditation at the end.
It's heaven.
There's we both have a playlist on our channels for Sacred Sounds, so you can go back and watch the older ones. I started Sacred Sounds with Jody Roberts, and then Jody passed away, and Gail and I started doing it together, and it's just been a blessing.
Yes. And thank you, Jody, for being an amazing teacher. And I'm sure she's here.
And I'm sure she's playing your gongs with you.
Yeah, I'm sure. She's like, no, this way. Yeah, so it's been, we did Into the Unknown today because things are just changing, up for grabs, feeling different, a lot of chaos, a lot of change. We're changing. So we thought, ooh, perfect. Yeah.
It's interesting because Gail and I were laughing before going live. I'm an Aries, and I'm a strong Aries. I have 4 planets in Aries, and so I have all this energy that gets me into motion, right? And I've always been rather fearless, and just like whenever I feel change coming, like I don't lean back when I feel like I'm on the edge. I lean into it because I thrive on change, and I'm a little bit unusual that way, that I thrive on change. I have to be careful because I can invite too much change in my life and create chaos, right? But I've lived in 8 different states, 12 different homes. I've moved
Yeah, we were
around.
talking about that. I've lived in a few different states and just more places than I can count. So, and I'm a
It's
Libra, so I like the balance. However, if I go, it's like the extremes. So, but I think it's a good idea, good thought that to
but
take lesson from the Aries because we got to jump out there right now because we
the
know it's
leaders, in when I worked in the corporate world and I was doing readings on the side, I traveled a lot. So the companies would pay for it, so I got to experience almost 40 countries, uh, with the companies paying for it, and I got to tag on some extra vacation time every now and then and have some great vacations. And a lot of times I was traveling on my own. Sometimes with coworkers, sometimes on my own. In these strange foreign countries, I'd go in. It's like, okay, I'm in Thailand now. Okay, I'm in Indonesia now. What am I doing?
yeah,
And just
yeah,
I do have street smarts, so I can kind of sense like if I'm in a little bit of a dangerous area or something. All my years of living in New York, I guess. Um, New York area, but I have street smarts, but I'm fearless as far as going in somewhere by myself. Does not bother me.
yeah. Yes, I mean, that's kind of needed right now. We need to be able to gather that and just go forward because, we don't have much of a choice right now. Things are changing. I mean, and I'm not just suggesting like political change and economic change, but I mean, we are, according to a lot of mediums and a lot of spiritual folks, we're in this earth split or the shift, they're calling it, or whatever, where we're ascending and, you're making a choice. Are you ascending or are you not? I know James Van Praagh has talked about that and, Suzanne Giesman and who is Alex. He does, oh my gosh, he does a wonderful job. The Next Level Soul. He's got a podcast and he has all these amazing people on there. And, they constantly talk about this shift. And we are in it 2025 for the next 5 years. you know, I don't want to say it's only going to be hell and fire, but everything is going to reconstruct itself. So everything we knew, everything we, you know, understood to be, anything that needed to change is going to be changing majorly. So we just got to fasten our seatbelts.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like you know, a lot of people think politics isn't very spiritual, low energy and stuff, and I'm like, I think of it as very spiritual because you know we have to have um, laws of the land and political leaders and things to help us get things done to help lift our brothers up, to
yes,
lift people up when they're down, and
100%.
that's just something that I would I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was listening to his recording on YouTube the other day where he's doing the song with her "Life Without You,"
Mm,
and he takes a break in the middle of it because he had um, a very dear friend that was attacked in Georgia when they were there touring, and he said, "Let's not, put someone else down because we're up. Let's lift them up
yes,
when they're down. Don't be pushing down on people just because you're up and
right,
doing
right.
great."
And I think that's so important. And I think that's one of the hardest things for me personally is, and being a Libra, my whole thing is justice. I do not like to see people mistreated. I do not like to see groups of people put down. I don't, it just makes me like see red. And so I think one of the big lessons of this time, because they're just fire, fire, fire everywhere, is just how do I be of service, be useful, do what I can do, which is writing my senators, my representatives, getting involved in things without seeing that red and coming in with love and compassion. Because love is what's going to save us right now. Like we have to stay in a place of love. We can't stay in a place of rage or fear. And I think, rage is just an aggressive form of fear. You're something's, you're scared of
I think
something.
they, that's the goal. They want us afraid, because
Uh-huh.
then we'll get paralyzed. You ever,
Right.
when you feel change coming, when you're journeying into the unknown, that's a very common reaction is to feel like either you're in quicksand or you're paralyzed and like, oh, I can't move. I can't even take a
Yes.
baby step. I just feel
Yes,
stuck.
it's a trauma response. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking. It's funny, journey into the unknown. Gail and I both. Usually, the night before we do sacred sounds, like make some notes and things, and nothing was coming to me on the subject. We thought it was a great subject when we picked it, but
Mhm.
nothing was coming to me. And then we get in the pre-show chit chatting a little bit, and I'm like making notes right and left. It's just the words just flow.
Yep.
Um,
I
so
know when I get the block, something that we're going to talk about before we start is what's going to be the show.
yeah, so it's kind of like, when you feel trauma or frozen or whatever, if you trust the process, which I always do. Like I don't get too worried about like, God, I'm not thinking of any talking points. I usually make a few bullet points. I know that it's just going to flow, whether it's channeled with the angels and guides or our higher selves. When you and I get together, it just
Right.
flows.
Yep.
And I
Oh,
think that's what we have to learn to do is trust ourselves, trust
yes.
our higher selves. Our, in our brain, we may not know what we want to do yet, but if we can trust our higher selves, um, and trust the universe. I've always laughed, like, I was laid off in retail 3 times since 2008 because retail took a bloodbath, and I'd get a job and I'd have it for a few years and get laid off again. And the universe was aligning me, to read full time. So the last layoff, I knew I wanted to read full time. I had to downsize my cost of living because I knew I wouldn't make as much money as I made in the corporate world. So I bought this house knowing I was going to get laid off. Talk about trust. I bought
Yes.
this house the month before I was laid off, and I knew I was going to get laid off in January. I knew when I took this job up here in Illinois, I'd be lucky to have it 2 years. And I had it 2 years, 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But
a
I trusted the process because I was
yes.
able to downsize my cost of living instead of spending a lot of money I was spending on rent. I was able to get my mortgage down pretty cheap, and find an affordable house in this area. Like if I moved 8 miles closer into Chicago, my house would have cost double what I paid for it.
Yeah.
Just the difference in um,
Yep. In
housing prices up
Chicago.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm right
crazy.
on the edge of
Neighborhood
farmland.
to neighborhood, it's
Yeah,
madness. Yeah.
I'm right on the edge of farmland, so I was able to get my house for much cheaper than
Yeah.
where I was renting a house for, and just trusting. Every time I got laid off, like okay, I might get fearful at first, or I might get angry. Like I was the first layoff, I was angry because they laid off 3,000 people in one day in 2008, and I had just gotten back from a big trip for 3 weeks overseas. I'm like, why did they let me go overseas if they were going to lay me off? 3,000 people, pregnant women, losing their insurance as they're getting ready to have babies and everything. And I was so angry. I came home and all I could do was scream the F bomb over
Right.
and over. I was like,
Right.
I was angry, not for myself as much as the whole collective that was laid off. And
100.
then I found out they gave a multi-million-dollar bonus to this new CEO. And I was like, okay, that multi-million-dollar bonus could have kept all these people employed for a while. So the anger was there. I had to
Yes.
work through the anger, and then getting that trust in knowing. I have an expression because I've lived it. I've learned from it.
Right.
God always keeps a roof over my head. I
Yeah.
might get pulled up and relocated somewhere else in some strange state I've never lived in before, some strange city,
Yeah.
but I always land on my feet like a cat, and God always keeps a roof over my head.
Yes.
And when I trust that wisdom I've gained from past experiences, um, I'm trusting myself, but I'm also trusting the universe to provide what I
Yes.
need.
And I think that's a huge lesson right now is that people need to go back to, you know, trusting in the universe, trusting in source, trusting in, like trusting in that leap and the net will appear
Yep.
because we are, we're going to be challenged on all fronts. And I think, we need to know that our true support for me comes from spirit and, and trusting in my guides and trusting, that no matter what happens, we're going to be that cat landing on its feet and you just have to keep going. And I think, one of the things is not to feed into the rage and it's hard. That's me too. Being a Libra, I get so angry seeing people mistreated and being their opportunities taken away and just no thought for people whatsoever,
But
with
being
these huge
empath,
companies.
we all feel it. Uh,
Yes. So it's hard. Like the subtle work is how do you move forward, do what you can for yourself and for people and for the community and not be enraged. Do it from love. And for me, that's always a challenge. Like my rage is love because I care very much about people, but it's not helpful right now. So that's a lot of subtle work that I'm starting to focus on is how do I do this from love? Because I haven't been able to watch anything in the last couple months. I have not looked at a TV. I just can't. I get so angry. I can't take it. So I'm like, okay, that needs to change because it's not helpful. It's not.
yeah,
I
I
need to
I
be
think
able
you have
to
to
be
stay
calm.
aware of what's going on.
Yes.
Uh, that means doesn't mean leaving the TV on 24/7 because there's always breaking news right now.
Right.
But it's staying informed and figuring out what can I do? Can I call, my senator? Can I help in my community? Can I, what can I do? Um, the little things. Can I check on my neighbor? Just picking up the phone call sometimes
Absolutely.
is helpful.
Yes.
Um,
And I
and
think
I always I always say there are no bad or negative experiences. You know, people like to put labels like, oh, that was really negative, nasty, or whatever. I There's no bad experiences as long as you learn from it. So anytime I've gone through tumultuous, what some people would think of are like horrible things happening, um, when I get beyond it and reflect on what did I learn from that.
Right.
The past is not to be lived in; it's to be learned from.
Right.
History is to be learned from, right? So we don't repeat things. Um, so I look at what I learned from it, and sometimes some of the most painful lessons we go through taught us the most and make us stronger. What doesn't
Yes.
kill you makes you stronger.
Absolutely. 100%. And yeah, I mean, we just need to reframe our view of this. And I mean, again, like I feel this is something that's been predestined for hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever. This shift was coming regardless. There's certain things that might be more of a catalyst, but we're here, and not everything is always whistling through the tulips. So sometimes you have to, how do you face things? That's the lesson. How do you move yourself through? How do you grow? How do you heal? When times get really, when it's not easy. So, when I'm in that place of, oh my God, I need to fix everything, and it makes me so upset. Like you gotta
And
learn to have the emotional control to bring that back down. And what can I do to heal and do it from an intelligent, loving viewpoint
that's a
standpoint?
hard lesson too. Like if you like to help people, you have to realize sometimes some people don't want fixing,
100.
and that's hard to watch. It's like, but you have to detach a little bit, get neutral with it. It's like, okay, it's their lesson. I can
Right.
be here to support when they're ready, but I can't fix them. I can only change how I react to them.
Yeah.
Anyone that's got an alcoholic in their life, they know that. Like they have to decide to go to AA themselves.
Right.
Um, we can't force them. So it's kind of the same way right now. I think in politics, it's like, okay, the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference, to change the things I can. And uh, I don't know that we have to accept everything, but we can get neutral with it so we don't feel quite so triggered,
Exactly.
and then think about, well, what can I do? You know.
Exactly. That's the work. That's the part. I'm moving from the trigger to the neutral before I can step in and try to do what I feel like might be helpful. So that's my work right now. Is I had to step back at first because I
You're
couldn't
triggered.
pull
Yeah.
myself together. I was like, ah,
Because we're human. We're
Yes,
here
it
having a
should
human
matter. It should
dimension.
matter what's going
Yeah,
on.
we're
So
supposed to learn from our human experiences, but
right.
we're also incarnated at the same time on earth. You have older
Yes.
souls, you have younger souls. You have older souls that haven't learned from their lessons. You have older souls that are very wise. You have
Yes.
younger souls that are like that,
Yes.
So, bringing it together, trying to get on the same page sometimes with people is difficult.
Right. And it's okay. Like we have to come together regardless, as many of us as possible. Like we
And
have to
I,
find a
I
way to
I try not to judge someone else's journey,
help.
although if you watch Petty Boots, we do get a little judgmental on Petty, but some of these people deserve it. But in day-to-day life, I try not to judge someone for their journey, so I,
Right.
I
Right.
say,
And that's
bless their
work. It's
journey.
work.
I have to decide if I'm going to be a part of it or not. And if I
Right.
decide to get neutral with it and not be a part of it, bless their journey. They're doing the best they can. They're probably
Right.
a young soul. That's what, like in my head, I'm like, they're probably a very young soul. Bless their heart. They're going to have to come back and do this again. You know, and bless them
Yeah.
on their journey.
Yes. So I did relating to this. I pulled a few things for us today. I was just trying to come up with a few. I'm like, what's related? Okay, into the unknown. Um, so I have, and two things kind of came out. So this is Colette Baron Reed's. Dang it, I'm so bad at this.
Oracle card.
Mystical Shaman Oracle. So this is her mystical shaman oracle deck. It's and I just pulled, so I usually cut the deck, and I noticed that when I cut a deck, I always look at the bottom card. So I just started using the bottom card and then the top card from the pile because I
I
seem to do that
I'll do
anyway.
that.
So
I'll like split the tarot deck and I'll get a card. There's
yeah,
the
you
healer,
always look.
the
Yeah.
medium. But
So
I
like
also look at the bottom, which the
exactly.
legacy.
Yes, yes. So what do we have? Dang it.
Right in the center.
Lightning. Okay, so the lightning card was in there. There's nothing more uh, appropriate than a strike of lightning, like boom, right? So, you know, life has gifted you with a destiny that is aligned with your passion and in harmony. Um, Let this initiation release what is in the way of you fulfilling your life purpose. So there is something here, that we need to look at, regardless of how horrible it might seem. This bolt of lightning, it's like having the tower, is here to show us something. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So the tower is here. And
I
then
always
I,
look at before you go to the next card. I
yep,
always look at the tower card as a very Saturn energy. Anyone going through their Saturn return that's like 54, 55,
yes,
you'll get this. Um, it's not a negative energy, but what it does is it strips away what no longer serves you. Right? It
right.
may tear some things down, but it strips away what no longer serves you. In my
Yes,
Saturn return, I was laid off 3 times. It was stripping away my desire to keep working in retail, to want to read full time. It was stripping away, um, letting go of things that I had done in the past so that I could rebuild, reinvent my life
yes,
around a new structure, a new job structure.
right,
And it if you recognize it, like, yeah, getting laid off 3 times, going on unemployment 3 times, right,
right.
can be devastating. But for me, it was about stripping that away. And some friendships that I'd had for a long time fell by the wayside. Like you
Yes,
really learn who your true friends are, that you have that reciprocal give and take relationship with, and that comes from a place of love, not judgment, right?
right.
You learn who your true friends are that are still there after you've gone through your Saturn return. But I had a lot of people that just kind of fell by the wayside that I used to stay in touch with, and it's like, okay, no longer serving me. And then once that fell away, then all these new friendships started coming in that were wonderful. It was
Yes,
rebuilding, reinventing my life.
yes.
So
Yeah,
don't be afraid of the tower card. I
no,
actually
don't
like
be
the tower.
afraid. Yeah, it can
It's
be
very
a lot, but it's so worth it. I mean, when I went through my Saturn return, my second Saturn return, I that was just a few years ago, and I created Spark. Like the whole Spark thing started. I released the book. I did the website. I did the YouTube channel. I was working obsessively. I had a full time practice and a full time social work job in a school, and was just running myself into the ground. And COVID hit, and I made a shift in my life. I dropped down to 4 days a week. I closed my practice, and I decided to go this other direction. And it was very scary, but it was what I knew full on. This is what needs to happen.
yeah.
So it can be really jarring, but it's awesome.
And
So
you
that's
know,
the lightning
it,
strike.
it's
Yeah.
it's only scary for a moment if
Right,
you
right. Yep. Ask me if
pause
I
and you
remember.
think about all your self reliance, right? All your wisdom you've gained in your life, um, and your friends that hold a sacred space for you and kind of hold you while you're going through something, keep you sane, so to speak,
Yeah,
right? When you rely on that, the fear kind of just floats away, like you don't give energy to it.
yes,
And you have to be very careful what you focus on, right? Because that's what you're going to attract. And if you focus
exactly.
on the fear, you're going to attract more
Right,
things to be afraid of.
right.
If you focus on loss, um, need, like everything you don't have, you're going to attract more need. You're going to become a very needy person. If you focus on what you do have, come from a place of gratitude, and accept, okay, this happened. I can't change it. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't make blink my eyes like I dream a genie and go back in time and fix this, right? It's part of my learning here in the school of Earth, which is what I think of Earth as. We're here to learn.
Yes.
Uh, that
Yes.
calms you down pretty fast, and then you get your ducks in a row and figure out what the strategy is.
Right. Yeah. And I just remember, don't be fearful. I thought of that a lot, and just, while it's jarring, and it's, but I was so excited for the project too. Like, I just knew it was right. I just knew. So, uh, you know, you just keep moving, and yeah, just check your fear, because you don't want to be the thing that you pull in,
Because
especially now.
that
Yeah.
will put you in cement blocks. That will
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
freeze
Yeah.
you up to where you can't move.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Who said,
What
oh,
was your other
innocent?
card? Your second card?
Oh, yeah. Innocent Potato just said, when a parent passes. When my first Saturn return, my mom passed very suddenly. And that happens a lot during Saturn returns for some reason. It is a jarring, depending on your relationship with the parent. But, yeah, that's such a good point.
health
Yeah.
health
And
issues, job losses, job
yeah, like
changes, and
major.
losing a parent, losing a loved one.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Common
Yes.
themes in Saturn returns. But the thing too, like, I love when people have celebrations of life. Yes, we all grieve, whether it's a pet or a loved one. When you lose something, you grieve. When you lose a job, you grieve.
Right.
you know, yeah, whether it's you miss your friends at work, your co-workers, or whatever, you grieve a little bit. um, Take the time to grieve, but don't get stuck in the grief. Try to find the things to celebrate about that person or that pet. Like, I feel blessed to have had that pet for as long as I had them. I don't care if it's 2 days or 20 years.
Right.
I was given the grace to
Yes.
take care of this pet to the best of my ability for whatever time I'm allowed to do it.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, Lisa, fear is my biggest hurdle. I get you. I struggle, and I know it is, and I know I'm not giving it 1 ounce of energy, but it's hard. It's
And
hard.
anger is a
You
form
just
of
gotta
fear, right?
keep
Yeah,
it in check.
I'm an Aries. Anger can go like a
Right.
volcano.
Yes. Yes. But that's awesome that we know what the work is, and now it's just a matter of staying on it, right? Okay. So our next, which is so interesting, Earth. You just said Earth,
Earth
and
is
the
our
thing
teacher.
is, with the lightning bolt,
Yeah,
to ground it, to stay grounded within ourselves during all of this. I
like
thought
you
that was
can feel
so
when there's
beautiful.
electricity in the air, right? If you get
It
grounded,
grounds. Yep. So I thought, wow, okay, that's right on track. So just remembering to stay grounded, to, take that crazy bolt and just kind of make sure we're grounded in who we are and what we need to do. And yeah,
I
so I
always
thought that
think the
was
winter
really,
months are a little more charged anyway. We're all inside. We don't go outside as much, because it's cold or whatever. But there's always static electricity in the air when your heat's on,
yes,
right? Like my cats get full of static, and I have to like wipe them down with a damp cloth or something to pull the
yeah,
static off, so that every time I touch them, I don't spark them and shock them.
yeah,
But I always think that December, January, February are a little more jolting anyway. There's just more electricity in the air.
yes, yes, for sure. Yeah. And it's, yeah, everything's there to teach us. It's,
If we were talking about too the importance of uh, having a home base to come home to, where you
yes,
feel secure, your refuge in the storm from the lightning, right? You don't go out in the storm when it's lightning, right? You come inside.
yes,
Yeah, I can remember going to my mailbox one time and lightning like flashing, and I felt like it was right beside me. I was like,
oh,
get my ass inside, immediately, right? That refuge in the storm. Gail is trying to, um, in her new home, permeate the energy with her positive energy in the home, so
yes,
that she has that refuge when she comes home from work.
Right. Yeah, there have been some energy struggles in this house, but we're
That
getting
that
there.
that can happen.
And I have one more for us. So this is because I was thinking, oh, Into the Unknown. There's so many cool. So this is Kim Kranz, who a lot of you, I'm sure, know. Um, and she is amazing with change and with Into the Unknown. So this is the Wild Unknown Tarot, and I apologize that it is the teeny tiny pocket version. I have like a bunch of her stuff, and I could not find the big deck. But anyway, what popped up for us today is frog, and the thing with frog is self care. So making sure during this time, being grounded, taking care of yourself, rest when you need to rest, just really, because there's so much energy going on out there from every direction. We need to do self care and we need to rest, and care for ourselves because there's just a lot going on right now that's not going to slow down anytime soon, I don't think.
One thing that helps me when I'm going through change and going into the unknown, like I don't quite know the direction I'm going yet, but I can feel, the change. I talk about the edge. When you feel like you're on the edge, a lot of people lean back. I have a tendency to lean in, and that's because I try to maintain a curiosity.
Yes.
So if I can get curious about, where's this going to go? How's this going to work out? In a funny kind of way, I get curious. Let me learn. Oh, I have a opportunity to move to Illinois. Let me look at what is housing costs there. What's there to do around there? What's,
Right.
would I like living there? That kind of thing. So I always investigate a little bit. I get curious and get into it, and then I can make an informed decision that's the best for me, right?
Right.
Especially like when I worked in the corporate world. If I had two or three jobs on the table at the same time, it's like, okay, I don't like that lifestyle. I really, even though that job pays well and I might like that job, I don't want to move there. Like I just know I don't. That's not where I want to live.
Yeah.
Get
Yes.
curious. It's like, okay, where's this all going, in the government? I'm curious, what's going to
Right.
happen, when the dust settles, what changes are going to come,
Stay curious, not furious.
right? There you go. There's an expression: stay curious, not furious. Although a little fury helps, because it motivates us, right? It gets that fire energy going, that
Right.
very.
Yes.
But
That's, yeah.
yeah, get curious about things you want to push with your Congress people to change laws. Like, don't we want a law that prohibits a convicted felon from running for governor, for president again?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
think,
It's
think about things.
from a little distance, a little bit of
Yeah,
distance with
that you
curiosity
would
is
like
kind of
to see
at a
come out
distance.
of the upheaval,
Right.
um,
Right.
because upheaval can't last forever. It didn't end well for Hitler. Just saying.
Yeah.
So
So I think,
don't
yeah.
know what they're thinking right now, but history has shown us Napoleon ended up isolated on a little island.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So,
Right.
uh,
So yeah, it's truly that curiosity. I mean, I think it was Georgia O'Keeffe that said the one thing, if she had one piece of wisdom to impart on artists or people in general, is just stay curious your whole life. Stay curious. It keeps you young. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you from all these destructive feelings of rage and fear and all these. Just look at it from a point of
I
curiosity.
I hope I'm still learning in my 90s because I
Right.
get curious. So where I used to travel, to strange countries, and I would get curious about their cultures and their religions and their temples and different things. So I did a lot of wonderful little side things while I was traveling for business, had some great little metaphysical experiences that if I hadn't been curious wouldn't have happened, right?
Right.
If I hadn't leaned into it and gone places that I wouldn't normally have gotten to go.
Yeah.
um, I had some incredible experiences that I can draw on as I get older.
Right. I remember you telling me about an amazing one in Ireland where you had just an incredible experience.
Yeah, on the coast of Ireland at Drumbeck
Yeah,
Stone
right.
Circle, and I had never. Yeah, first time I went to Ireland, it's before GPS, it's before cell phones. I didn't even have a it was before computers and MapQuest. Even remember how we used to print directions and
Yep.
drive around reading, to get places. So a friend of mine and I, we landed in Dublin. We stayed one night in Dublin. We had one other reservation we had made, but the rest of the time we just found bed and breakfast on the way. Like we were just trusting that we'd be provided a room for the night. Like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, right? Let's go find a manger to settle in for the night. I don't know, just the trust that we would be okay. The
Yeah,
two American women in a strange country,
yeah,
and we stumbled on Drombeg Stone Circle. We had not, researched and heard about it. We stumbled on it on the coast of Ireland, not too far from the Ring of Kerry, and I had one of the most incredible metaphysical moments of my life there. So sometimes, we talk about stumbling into grace. We did a whole Sacred Sounds of Coffee on that. Sometimes
we
we stumble our way into the path, right? That opens more doors that we weren't expecting.
right. Yep.
Stay curious. Like,
Yes.
and if I
Stay
hadn't, like, as we're
curious.
driving down this one road, if I hadn't seen a little sign that said ring Drombeg Stone Circle, if I hadn't been curious, we wouldn't have driven down the side road to go see it.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
We had no maps. We got lost everywhere. It was fun.
But I think, the difficulty we're having with change and with, the future and all that is people are so used to having every single answer right in their face that they're like, "Ooh," when it doesn't happen. So I think that's some of it too is, you just got to take the journey sometimes and
I
don't,
find it funny, like doing personal readings.
yeah,
There's the occasional person that you read for that they want to know every little thing about what's
right.
they want. And I never tell someone how to live their life. My goal in doing a reading is to bring you clarity to situations and show you opportunities, and help you on the journey,
Yes.
and not to tell you how to live your life. And every now and then I get somebody who wants me to tell them every move to make, and it's like, that I'm not taking your karma on by telling you what to do, what decision to make. That's your choice, what you
Right.
do with it.
Yeah, you got
Like,
it.
mine is here just to bring some clarity to you.
Right.
And
Right.
it's funny because those people, like, they'll book readings too frequently, and I'm like, you need to take a break and let life happen a little bit.
Yes.
Makes it, and be responsible for your own life.
Right.
Take some time to know yourself and what you want, so that you can have some
Absolutely.
direction in your life without just "Ee."
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's why I created Spark. I put pieces out there that might give steps and might support and might, but you got to do it, like, it's, we all got to find our way. So, yeah, for sure. That's a really important thing because there are the chronic reader people that just want to answer, answer, answer. No, you have to go find the answers.
Jay's talking about it in the chat. I don't know how I got anywhere with those paper maps. Remember the
I
old
know,
ones? You
I
had to
saw that
you can
too.
never fold them back, and you'd have them upside down or whatever. You're driving along, and it's like flying out the window. Paper maps. Yeah,
Oh my
having
God.
a car atlas. Remember those? And you're looking
Oh
for.
my gosh. All right. So, truth be told, I still have some paper maps in my car for other states when I like go and, because sometimes that little phone, it'll just spin and spin and spin and there's
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
So,
you don't have a
it's
signal where you're
crazy,
at.
but, at least it's something.
Yeah, there's
So,
an analogy. Sometimes when you feel stuck, it's like you don't have a signal. So you got
right?
to get
Ah,
somewhere where
there
you
it
do have
is.
a signal, right?
Yes.
To get a message from your guides and loved
Yes.
ones, and
Right.
get
Right. That's
aligned
a,
again with divine order. So
yeah.
if you feel like you're just spinning and spinning,
Yep.
take a step to the side or
Yep.
back or wherever you had your last
Change your
signal.
viewpoint. Yes. Oh my God. I love that.
It's a,
You're
stay
just
curious, not
wheel
furious.
spinning right now. How many of us have experienced that, everybody?
I thought it was appropriate to bring David White's
Oh,
Crossing of the Unknown Sea. It's a book he wrote, really helps people, guide them through working in the corporate world where they drain your soul, right? That you just
yes.
feel drained a lot of times. He used to go around and he would do lectures at different big companies and stuff, but he's a poet. And that's David White with a Y for those, Whyte. I
Yeah.
had the pleasure of hearing him speak several times in New York when I lived in New York. And he's a wonderful poet, but I'm going to read one of his poems called "Working Together" that's in this. So it's a novel, but he intersperses some poetry here and there in it. He has pure poetry books. Also, look for them; they're wonderful. Um, we shape ourselves to fit this world. You might ever do that? You try to shape yourself to fit a situation, and then you realize you don't quite fit. Right? We shape ourselves to fit this world, and by the world are shaped again. The visible and the invisible working together in one common cause to produce that the miraculous. You stay open to the miraculous, there are miracles. I am thinking of the way the intangible air passed at speed round a shaped wing easily holds our weight. So may we in this life trust to those elements we have yet to see or imagine, and look for the true shape of our own self by forming it well. So, in other words, not letting others form you, form your own self
Yes.
to the great intangibles about us, shape of our own self and forming it well.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it's,
And that's
you
the
know,
life journey. I mean, that's a life journey.
right. We
To
all have,
be,
like,
I'm me. That's and I can let you be you and let things come and go and not change me. You're
or know who you are. Like, I don't want to say
exactly.
that, I mean, there are people that have changed. David White changed me.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yes, yes,
so
yes,
there are people
yes.
that change me and open my mind to thinking about something differently, but I don't try to fit in a mold that society
Right,
tries to
right.
predicate to me. You know,
Yes. My changers are about growth.
yeah. So I look for people that positively change me just by getting me thinking about something in a different way. Um, and I've been in a relationship where the guy kept trying to change me to be the woman he wanted. And it's
Right,
like,
right.
ain't that ain't that woman.
We've
Sorry.
all been
Go on
there.
your way.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah.
you either love this the way this is, or
Right.
go find that woman. But that's, quit
100%.
trying to change me. I'm not trying to change you. Quit trying to change me.
Right. Yep.
So so
Absolutely.
there are things that I don't, it changes you because it inspires you, right?
Yes.
And because you're curious and you listen. I've read books that changed me, gone to seminars that have changed me, met people that changed how I thought about things.
Yes.
That's a part of life.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful part of life. Oh my gosh. I am always the searcher. I'm always learning something new at some seminar somewhere, at something. Oh, Jen. Okay, guys, so I'm bringing this up. So, Jen, I know, I'm doing it anyway. Okay, so Jen in October is going to be back in Portland doing the energy, um, healing energy, kind of using the oral energy, kind of using the I keep doing this because you use your what do you call it, your
Astral body healing.
astral hand to go in and kind of work on people's energy. Oh my goodness, I was out in Portland last year and it's amazing, you guys. And that's like me. I'm always seeking something like that to continue with my healing work, to continue. But that Jen seminar, if you haven't looked into it, take a look because it just like I've been done Reiki for 30 years probably, at least, and it gives it more depth. It's a different thing. It's a different technique, but it
And,
teaches you more about energy and more about approach, and it's
and there is a technique to it, so anyone can learn it. Um,
yes, and it's
yeah,
just
I'm
brilliant.
laughing. Dr. Victoria Skirbo's in the chat. Hi,
Oh,
Vicky.
hey, Vicky.
From the Seeds of Transformation and Healing
Hello.
Center. If y'all don't follow her channel, please do.
Yeah.
She's telling me my Aries is showing. Because if y'all didn't see it, I think it was like a year ago, like January, February. She did my astrology chart, and we went live and talked about it on my channel. So look for
You
that
did, I
video.
remember. That was awesome.
It shows in my astrology. She was teasing me. She said, I didn't think I'd meet anyone that was more Aries than my husband because her husband has 3 planets in Aries. I have 4. She's like, you're a quad Aries. But it talks about that I'm a healer in my chart. Like it kept showing up over and over, which I've been told, and I know I've done it in past lifetimes and stuff. But she said, you're here to lead. You're the Aries. You're here to lead a new way of healing,
Yes,
So
yes, and it's
if you're
wonderful. It's
curious and would like to learn a new way of healing, that's on jinlintarot.com, my website. Click on the seminars tab, and you can see the dates. Um,
right. Yep, and
and we do some
absolutely
other, like we spend all
wonderful.
day, the first full day we spend all day doing healing energy, working on each other. Do not come because you want a healing session with me. This is not for your own personal healing session. This is to learn this method and to take it home and practice with it. um, my guides taught me how to work with the astral body. I didn't learn that in a seminar. My guides taught me. um, but we do other things to connect with your guides. We do opening the mediumship and automatic writing and other things that I teach also.
Yeah.
I do not do online classes. I will not teach healing energy online
Thank
because
you for that.
I can't tell if you get it
You have to be
when you're
present.
online. You have to be in person.
Yeah.
I can tell from your face because a lot of people will yes you and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I feel it," and I'm like, "No, they don't," and I'll keep on.
Right.
And then when I see their eyes get wide and like they're like, "What is that?" That wonder thing. It's like, okay,
Right.
now they feel
I mean, I
it.
think because you've been a practitioner forever, to do healing at a distance makes sense. But to teach it for the very first time, like I got so
Well,
much standing around the tables, working with
you,
other people.
you
It's
you don't have anybody to practice with
right,
when you're
right.
doing it online.
You have to
And when
know
you
you're
in a
doing it right,
class
kind of thing.
and we're working on each other and pairing up and working,
Yes.
you're practicing on each other. So it only makes sense that I do it in a formal classroom with a lot of
Yeah.
massage tables at a massage school.
Yes. Yeah, it was wonderful. So that's, I mean, in terms of staying curious and growth and going on your journey, that's another way because it was wonderful. So we were, yeah.
I've had so many people, why don't you teach it in Zoom classes? Not doing it. It would not be as effective. Um,
Yay, innocent potato. Yeah, I've been doing Reiki forever. That's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I always have Reiki practitioners that take the course, and
Yeah.
I always tell them, put the Reiki aside for today, learn this technique and how to channel the energy because how I channel it's different from Reiki. Um, and I teach you how to channel it and to feel it and to move it and to work with it. And then teach you how to work with the astral body when it starts turning and aligning. Um, so I always tell people put Reiki aside, learn this technique, and then when you get home, you may do both. You may,
Right.
if you're clearing chakras, you may do Reiki, but then
Yeah.
if you're working on someone with cancer, you want to do the astral body healing, and the astral body has the memory of everything healthy. So it aligns, harmonizes. I like to say it harmonizes with our physical body, which isn't always healthy, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, so I'm learning how to integrate that technique, Reiki, and my bowls. Like I do sound on people, and so it's,
It's all
I'm
harmonics.
just
Sound is
yes,
harmonics too.
yes, 100%, absolutely. And then I will
Vibration.
put crystals on people, so that's got its own harmonic. So yeah, that's pretty incredible. Yeah, I mean, just but it's about growth and it's about curiosity and learning and watching the energy and Yeah,
And I'm
super
still
excited.
learning. My guides still pull new stuff on me every now and then. I'm like, oh wait, what's that? you know,
Yeah,
they're still pulling new things on me, and so I'm always. They know I'm always open to learning something new. And then when they teach me something new, they kind of leave me alone with it for a little bit to practice it till I get the hang of it. Um,
yes,
but yeah, it's quite intense. Every time I teach somebody that knows Reiki, they come up afterwards and they're like, "Wow," they can't believe they can feel the astral body moving and turning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's,
Wow. Well, shall we do a little meditation and
I think we
uh,
shall
sound bath? Journey into the unknown with
journey
sound.
into the unknown. Yes.
Wow.
All right.
Well,
I'm gonna mute myself out of here and get myself set up.
okay, and I will mute myself so it doesn't echo after the meditation here. So anyone that would like to light a tea light with me, I always when I do these types of meditations, and whenever I'm trying to manifest something, I like to use tea lights to let them burn all the way down. So I don't use pillar candles, votives, jar candles, nothing like that. I like to let it burn all the way down so I'm not blowing it out. And because I have cats, after we're live, I have to put the candle somewhere safe where the cats won't get on it. I have a little shelf I put it on and I let it burn all the way down. So I only light candles when I know I'm going to be home for an hour to let it burn all the way down. Uh, but I have certain archangels that I work with a lot. So you always hear me in these meditations invoking Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, and Ariel. If you have other archangels, and of course your guides that you like to work with, you can call on them. You can add their names. So just because I'm only saying four, there's a zillion archangels. I can't say them all. If you have a thing with Metatron, you have a close affiliation with Metatron. Um, I've been aware of Raphael since I was 4 years old, and I was raised Southern Baptist, so nobody ever talked about Raphael. But my first experience was with Raphael. I was about 4 years old. Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Ariel, we surrender to your mercy, compassion, and healing. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for journeying with us, journeying into the unknown. We thank you for celebrating our victories in life, our victories over fear, over being stuck, over not being indecisive about what direction to take. We thank you for allowing us to trust ourselves, to know that we have gained wisdom from our own experiences, that we can then make better informed decisions for ourselves. We thank you for hope and curiosity to drive us into new unknown spaces. We thank you for making us aware of wisdom that we have within, that we don't always have to seek wisdom outside, that we can go within for our wisdom. And we thank you for allowing divine order to flow that gets us where we're supposed to be, to trust in that and have the faith that all is well, that we are where we are supposed to be. I think Rosie enjoyed that sound bath. We could see her in the chair the whole time. Oh, you have your mic muted still. So, what we find for those who are new to Sacred Sounds Like Coffee, we find a lot of people come back and just rewatch the meditations at the end. I try to timestamp them. I don't always get it done, but I try to go back and timestamp when the meditation starts. So feel free to use the meditations that way. Every video has them, and they all sound different. Um,
That's so funny that you saw Rosie. I can't tell what I turned. I was hoping you could see a little bit of the bowls, but it's hard to see.
We can see the bowls, and we can see Rosie on the side there.
It's funny. Yeah, she does love the bowls. That's for sure. Yeah.
And because there's the meditations, we have different topics that we do each time. Like there's one where the first one I did with Jody, which ended up being the most watched one, was talking about manifesting, and there's a great meditation at the end for manifesting. So a lot of people go and rewatch that one.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yes, drinking water today. Yeah.
Whenever I do healing energy on people, I always tell them to drink a glass of water afterwards.
Yeah. Anytime you do any kind of healing, lots of water. Yeah.
And just for yourself, flushes everything out.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, well, I'm in the zone. Yeah, Bella's over here meditating. She's like, yeah. Doing the cat nod off.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you
all for thank you for joining us. We'll be on Gail's channel next week, which is Spark Soul Therapy, right? Or did you change the name? Yeah, Spark Soul Therapy.
Yep.
I'll try to share the link to that video when she sets it up in March. We had been doing Friday mornings, but we've got such a crowd here on a Sunday morning. I'm wondering if we should switch to first Sundays every month.
Yeah, we could absolutely do that for sure. So tone, note, frequency, I was really focused on. So when I took us in with the gong, I was trying to like do the, change, like really, shoot the energy out, kind of like the tower. And then I was doing a lot of heart. So heart-centered. The heart, I did a couple different frequencies of the heart bowl, and a couple different octaves, I should say. They're the same. So I have a couple different heart bowls, and then I was doing third eye a lot. So that's like an A sharp, I think. So that was third eye, and I just kept working the two together to kind of bring in that heart energy, and then some bit of the root chakra bowl to kind of ground the energy, bring in and ground. So that's kind of what I was focusing on.
One thing I like to do when I'm listening to sound baths or music that I meditate to, I like to imagine I have ears all over my body. And I can't remember who I learned this from years ago, but we would imagine we had ears up and down our legs, our torsos, our arms, and take the sound in that way, and you'll feel it like hitting your different chakras. You'll feel it strumming those different chakras.
Yes, Leslie. So the clear one is the heart bowl, heart chakra. Yep, that's the one. I kind of started with after the gong and kind of kept coming back to. So yeah, that's heart chakra frequency, which is F, I believe. Let me see here. Yes, the heart chakra is F frequency 235, maybe. So yeah, I know it's hard. Like once you hear it, you're like, oh, that really resonated. So yeah. Oh, anyone have my link? Let me see if I can put it in here.
Trying to paste it in now. Hang on.
Oh, thank you, Jen. Thank you. There it is. Yeah, that's me. So
I may need to do it from YouTube. Those that will post like a link. Hang on.
Yeah, that should be, and just put it in. And yeah, I don't know why it gave me that Spark Soul Therapy 9700, but it also, if you like go to YouTube and key in Spark Soul Therapy, it should pop up. But yeah,
Okay,
thank
there
you.
it is through YouTube. I was posting it through StreamYard, so
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Thank you.
I went back into YouTube and pulled it.
Yay.
Thank
So
you all for joining us, and
yes, this was amazing today. Wow.
yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
nice group.
Yeah, great conversation,
We
great
will be
healing.
back first Sunday of March.
Yeah, wow, March. I can't
Which
believe it. We are speeding through. Yep, first Sunday of March. So what do you say, Jen?
February is always short. Yeah. February is always short. I mentioned Dr. Vicky earlier. Watch the video that she did my astrology chart in,
It
and
was
then
amazing.
schedule a reading with her to do your own natal chart. It's fascinating. You can get so
Yes.
much insight just from astrology charts. If you're feeling a lack of direction and can't figure out, like, what are my gifts? Why am I here?
Right. So Leslie, not every week. We do the first Sunday of every month. Actually, the Friday, but now we're going to change the Sunday. What do you say, Jen? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's
Let's do it.
easier for
So
people because they're off work.
yeah, so it'll be the
And
first
of
Sunday
course,
of every month, 10 o'clock.
Sunday night tonight, February 9th, will be on House of Lenormand channel for Petty Boots, and Lori from the Way of Positive Change will be joining us.
Yeah.
This is February 9th of 2025 for anyone watching this video next year.
Right.
And we get that.
Yeah.
I've got videos people go back and watch
Yeah, yeah,
a few
me
years
too. I've
ago.
got like a big Sacred Sounds playlist, and you can, whatever draws you in, just listen to that, or you could go straight to the meditations for sure. Yeah, I do it too.
Thank you all for joining us this Sunday, and we will see you next month.
Yes. Bye, everybody.